Hey guys, welcome back to my shop. I'm super excited today because we're actually going to start making some progress on our build. So what we're going to do now is do the body blank. So you need your template. Hopefully you have one. Hopefully it's cut to the right size and shape that you want. Make sure all the sides are all sanded and smooth. Now that you know that, now you can determine how big of a body blank you need. If you are doing like a super strat shape or a Stratocaster shape, it'll be a certain size. If you're going to do a Telecaster shape, it'll be one size. If you're going to do an Explorer, it's going to be a much bigger size. So yesterday, 2 days ago, I went to my local wood supplier, found some alder, 1 3/4 inch, which is perfect. Had a really nice section of about 3.5 feet, and then there was a couple of knots. So I only wanted that 3 feet for this body blank. And unfortunately you have to leave a certain amount of wood in the rack. So if you find a 10 footer, like I found, and you only want 3 feet, then that's 7 feet left over, but they had a minimum of 8 feet left in the rack. So I ended up having to buy the whole thing, which it's okay because there's another section in there that'll be good for another body blank. So I had them cut the 3 feet off, so that's what this looks like here. And for my body blank, I only need 17.5 inches long by 7.5 inches wide per half. So this is 36 inches long. We're going to go outside, take it to the chop saw, cut it in half. And how we're going to join the two pieces together is you're going to cut it, and then this piece is going to flip around 180 degrees, and you'll have beautiful symmetrical end grain, which is what you want. You want that symmetry so that anything that happens on one half of the body blank will also happen on the other side of the body blank. So symmetry is important. Nice clear piece, not too much figuring in this, so that means that the grain is nice and consistent throughout the board. So yeah, let's go outside and let's get started. Alright, so we're out here at the chop saw. I've got my piece of alder. I've got it marked at the halfway point. I also have an extra on there so that I know how the two pieces came apart, so I know how to spin it properly. Got my safety equipment. Let's get started. Alright, so we're back. We got the alder cut in half. Then we're going to take these two halves and spin them around like that. Now at this cut end, the grain will be nice and symmetrical, so that's what we want. So now what we're going to do is take it to the table saw, trim off the excess, kind of establish that the edge for the glue joint, and then we'll clean it up on the joiner. We might need to use a hand plane, we'll get to that. And then we'll be ready to glue it up. Alright, so we are at the table saw. We're going to trim the excess off, establish the glue joint. Crucial detail is once you have your two boards lined up how you want them, have them situated how you want them. When we're going to do the final pass through the table saw to establish that glue joint, you're going to run one side in through top side up, and then the other side you're going to flip over and then run the back side up. And what that does is if there's any sort of angle variation in the blade, that will get compensated by cutting this the opposite way. So if this board gets half a degree cut this way, then this board will get a half a degree cut the opposite direction. So when you put the two boards together, those angles will be compensated for, and you'll have a nice flush glue joint. So let's get started. right. So we got my 2 boards here. I'm just going to mark an arrow so that I know one's going in that direction. This one's going in that direction. Now if there's any sort of an angle in the blade, that has been compensated for by flipping that piece over. So now we're going to take it to the joiner and get a nice, clean, gluable joint. So here we go. Alright, so we're at the joiner now. I've established that angle with the table saw. So instead of running up against the fence, I'm just going to make sure that I have good even pressure downward on the table so that the board doesn't want to tip at all. So also with the arrows that I drew on the 2 boards for the table saw, we're also going to use those same arrows so we know which direction we're going through and which side I want out when I'm joining it. So let's get going. Alright, so we're ready to glue up our 2 pieces. We cut it at the chop saw, we trimmed off the excess at the table saw, we ran the glue side edge through the joiner. If you don't have a joiner, you can always use a hand plane. Make sure it's sharpened really well. Also make sure you're reading the grain. You always want to run your plane, either hand plane or joiner, you want to run it downhill of the grain. So, I'm going to go through how I like to glue up my body blanks. So I have the 2 pieces together, have them lined up where I want. I want that cut joint totally flush with one another to help maximize that symmetry. Take some standard blue painter's tape. We'll just run it along the seam. That's going to help eliminate any squeeze out that we're going to have with the glue. And I will flip it on edge, open it up like a book, fill this up with glue. Spread the glue. You want to make sure you cover this entire joint with a thin, even coat of glue. You don't want too much, and you definitely don't want any dry spots. So too much glue can be an issue. Too little glue is definitely an issue. So I'm going to spread this throughout. Make sure you got nice, even coverage. Alright, so now that we've got this covered in glue, we're going to go ahead and drop these 2 pieces together. Have some nice even squeeze out. Now we're going to take our parallel clamps. We're going to do 2 on either, or 1 on either side from underneath, and then we're going to do 1 in the middle from up top. My clamps here. Alright, now I want to leave a little bit of room on either side to allow room for my F-clamps. Alright, so now we're going to take a little bit more of our blue painter's tape, put a little piece here, a small piece here. Alright, now we're going to take some regular old paint stirring sticks and set them on the tape so that we don't glue the stir sticks to our body blank. And then we're going to take our F clamps and we're going to clamp this together so we get nice even pressure. And try to keep these two pieces as parallel as possible. You don't want them shifting at all, because then you're going to have to plane that out and you could go deeper than the body thickness that you want. Drop these guys on. Alright, so we got the even pressure on the two pieces so they're nice and parallel. Now I'm going to start tightening these clamps up. See, we've got some nice even glue squeeze out throughout. So we've got the two pieces here, two clamps here. We're going to do our third clamp over the top so that if these two clamps want to kind of pull the two pieces in either direction, this one in the opposite side is going to counteract that pressure. And that's our body blank. So did all the work to get it to this stage. Now we're going to let this cure for at least an hour. I'm probably going to let it go overnight. And then tomorrow we'll come back and we'll clean up the glue squeeze out. We'll run it through our thickness sander. And that'll be our finished body blank. Alright, so it's been about 24 hours. The glue has dried. We're going to take it out of the clamps. We're going to send it through the thickness sander and clean up the glue squeeze out and get to our final body thickness. We're going to shoot for 43 millimeters. So here we go. Alright, so that takes us to the end of making our body blank. We got it cut, we got it glued up, we got it cut to the right dimensions, we got it thickness. So next we're going to take our template, our center line, we're going to transfer the center line to the edge of our templates. We're going to line that up with the center line of our body blank. Trace it with a Sharpie, going to take it over to the bandsaw and cut it out and route it. But we'll tackle all that in the next episode. So for now, body blank is finished. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks.